Welcome back, everybody. It is September 10th. Gus Morris, Kienan O'Doherty here to break down our Week 2 rankings here for the 2024 football season here in Sonoma County. A couple first tests for some local teams answered in a big way this week, or I guess last week. Definitely some more shifts going on in our rankings this week, but we're going to start looking at our bubble teams. A couple new additions here to the bubble this week. Sonoma Valley coming in here at 2-0 after defeating Montgomery. Excellent game of the week last week, Keenan, that you were at. And Annalee is also joining the fray at 1-1, along with Ukiah at 1-1, and Maria Carrillo, who's 2-0 right now after two very solid wins. But jumping up here to our number 7 team, it's staying as Vintage. Vintage with a very nice bounce back win after the Las Lomas loss in the opener. They beat Fairfield 34-13 last week. Huge defensive showing, 4 turnovers in the win, and also the emergence of the passing game has been so far a big theme. Blake Porter, junior quarterback, is 317 passing yards through 2 games after having about 300 all of last season. So definitely a solid win for Vintage last week, and a favorable matchup coming up again this week against Wood, which is a former league opponent they used to have in the Monticello Empire League. So Vintage coming in at number 7 this week.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll say this for a couple teams, that last week won here, but huge bounce back win for them. Get them in the right direction. Season kind of really started now that they got the first win under their belt, and who knows what the Crushers could do, but for them it's all about finishing preseason as strong as possible heading into the Adobe League there.
No doubt, and definitely a few more winnable games coming up on the schedule for them. So we'll see how they can finish out non-league play here over the next couple of weeks. Moving on to number 6, our big dropper of the week is St. Vincent, dropping from number 4 to number 6. 44-22 loss at Truckee. A bit of context. Truckee is a 2-time defending Nevada State champion. Yes, they're located in California, but they play in the Nevada Sports Association. It's a bit confusing. Don't worry about it. They've now won 25 straight games. So, again, like probably the best team that St. Vincent will play, maybe all season, until playoff time. And even then, this might be, far and away, the hardest game that St. Vincent has this week. So just even with the caliber of opponent, the 2 teams above St. Vincent also won this week. So that's why we had to drop them 2 spots. Definitely some winnable, like a lot of winnable games coming up for them starting this week with Balboa, a team that Casa Grande just beat 48-0, this past week. So I think St. Vincent should get back on track, but credit to them for challenging themselves against a very, very, very talented team in Truckee. But yeah, they're falling 2 spots this week.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. Big kudos to Trent Herzog and company, scheduling these tough games, getting a little bit of adversity. That adversity helped them so much last year on their way to the state title game. It's kind of think of the same way. And if you want to beat the best, you got to play the best. And obviously a 2-time or 3-time state champion from Nevada, it certainly helps that case. So great competition for them, but they fall in our rankings this week.
Speaking of Balboa, who I just mentioned, Casa Grande handled them this week 48-0. Very nice bounce back win for the Gauchos again after that tough season opening loss to Casa Grande, or to Cardinal Newman. Casa is our number 5 team this week. This is kind of the Casa team that we expected to see this year. 5 touchdowns from quarterback Danny Mercado, and their defense, pitched a shutout. Great game for that for the Gauchos on that side of the ball too. But really excited for this week's matchup. Definitely one of their bigger tests, I'd say, of non-league play coming up. When they're traveling over to Rancho Cotati, who's also in our rankings this week. That should be an excellent game coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, big bounce back win for them, especially considering the 14 players were out with COVID this week, so they were pretty shorthanded coming into Balboa. But the others stepped up when they needed to, big momentum holder now going into Rancho Cotati this week.
Absolutely. Our biggest riser of the week and a team that's kind of continuing to turn some heads right now is American Canyon. Big winners last week, 42-13 over Foothill of Pleasanton, a historically pretty strong Division One team in the NCS. But yeah, 29-point win, kind of a no doubter on that one. But they actually absolutely um, gashed the Falcons for 531 total yards, including 378 on the ground. 210 of those came from Andre Lopez with 3 touchdowns, and that puts him close to 400 already on the year with 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, again, American Canyon, I'm definitely starting to believe in these guys. 2 games in, and they're showing an absolutely electric offense they have here, and their defense is not half bad either. So. I think they should have a very good chance to move to 3-0 this week. They're hosting a 2-0 Archie Williams team that maybe hasn't played the best competition yet this year. So I mean, again, only 2 games in, but I'm starting to see American Canyon as being a legit contender for that REC Valley league title this year. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, only 2 games in, 83 total points scored, 41 against Wood in their opener, and now 42 here against a tough Foothill team. For American Canyon, it's all about it's never been about the lack of talent. They have talent throughout the entire roster, but it's about putting those pieces into place, and I think they've done a good job so far. And the sky's the limit for the team, as we found out earlier, and like you said, man. That RC Valley league title race might be a lot closer than we think. So, yeah, American Canyon, give them their kudos. They're up to number 4 this week.
Coming in at number 3, sticking actually with number 3 is Rancho Cotati, 2-0. They beat Redwood 24-6 this week. Another defensive showcase. They held Redwood to only 200 yards of total offense, and their defense had 2 interceptions, including a pick 6 for Luke Moore. It's already his 3rd pick of the year, so he's off to a great start along with the rest of their defense. But this defense is legit. Offense has more than held their own through 2 games. I think there were a lot of question marks in that regard, and so far they've been answered, by a couple, by a host of pretty talented players. So yeah, I think Rancho is in a much better position than I think a lot of people probably had them as coming into this year. But a good challenge coming up this week with Casa Grande coming to town. So Rancho Cotati coming in at number 3 this week.
Yeah, no doubt. And that one against Redwood, Gio Martinez, star running back Gio Martinez, didn't even touch the end zone. So, their offense is clearly more than just him. Like what we've always talked about their defense, how insane it is. But Rancho Cotati keeps rolling. Could be a certain dark horse in that Adobe League. You never know. But the big test, like you said, against Casa this week, that should show a lot about both teams.
Yep. Speaking of the Adobe League, staying here at number 2 is Windsor, and which obviously means our number 1 team is Cardinal Newman. But touching on Windsor here first, 2-0. Beat down Hayward 42-0 last week. It's been a mighty impressive start for the Jaguars. Again, absolutely taking care of business. In their first 2 games, I think it's 90-7 is the scoring margin. They have no punts through their first 2 games, and their 2 quarterbacks have a combined 1 incompletion. As well to this point. So again, mostly against weaker teams, but I think building confidence. I think early on for a team with a lot of new faces, is a very important thing at this time of year. I think it's a very, very good way to move into this week with probably their biggest test of non-league. They're hitting the road and playing Campo Lindo. Obviously a very, very strong, traditionally very strong NCS team. We'll definitely kind of see what the Jaguars are really made of this week. But I think that they have a very good chance to win this game coming up this week at Campo. But I think the one thing that also stands out is that, and we keep hearing this from head coach DJ Sexton, is that last year, arguably a much more talented Windsor team. It took them about 9 weeks to really put together a complete game and play a full complete game. And he already feels like they played. They're already doing that this year. 2 games in with with a younger squad that he just feels is really, gelling and cohesive right now. So Windsor, all that talent graduated. I don't think they're going to take as much of a step back. And I think through the first 2 games, it's pretty clear that that's true. So big test coming up this week, but they're off to a great start at 2-0.
Yeah, obviously, I mean Hayward, a Division three opponent for Windsor there. So big division win in terms of how playoff seedings will go. But yeah, Camp Alindo, last year they tied. I'm pretty sure you were there for that one, so I know they're going to be a little more fired up for this one this year. It's going to be down in Moraga, but yeah, like you said, Windsor's firing on all cylinders, and don't see why they wouldn't be able to get one over there on the East Bay this week.
No doubt. And like I said earlier, number one, Cardinal Newman, staying at number one, season long number one so far. 28-10 winners over Vacaville. I mean, I'd say this is as big of a statement win as we've had so far, around the county. Vacaville came in as a top 10 team in the Sac Joaquin section, had just barely lost to Granite Bay, who is I believe, a top 5 team in the Sac Joaquin section, the week prior. And Newman just absolutely handled them 28-10. Again, defense was amazing. They held Division I prospect Tanner Boyd to 81 yards. Very, very convincing win for Newman at this point. And, definitely a few more not their last challenge coming up of non-league play. Pleasant Valley is coming down pretty soon. Bishop O'Dowd just beat Monte Vista. Both of those are going to be very, very big tests, for the Cardinals. But at this point, I think all of the preseason hype that we were hearing about the squad, I think all of it was more than warranted. So, they're at this point the best team around, and we'll see how they kind of fare, in the coming weeks. But I say they have a pretty favorable matchup this week against Armillo coming in from Fairfield. So I'm expecting the Cardinals to go to 3-0 this week.
Yeah, same here. I'm expecting that as well. I think it's a good tune-up game for Pleasant Valley and then O'Dowd, two very strong teams. But credit head coach Richard Sanchez and the Cardinal staff for wanting to play those kinds of teams in the preseason. Really be tested as one of the top teams in the North Bay without a doubt. So, I think they do get past Armijo this week, and we'll see where they stack up against some of the best teams in Northern California. So before they go to the Adobe League, but as of right now, consensus number one without a doubt.
Yep, and that does it for our week 2 rankings. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Lots more coverage coming your way this week. I'll be heading out to Moraga for the Windsor Campo game. Keenan, I believe you're staying home for the Rancho Casa game. And then again, coverage from all around the county coming up, later this weekend. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, everybody.